All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Crown Council's live stream broadcast. Trips, live events. We go out and let you know what is happening inside this great community of ours so you know you are not practicing alone. We are hopefully going to share the stories and things that not only help you, but also that you can engage with and feel part of this great community. So, a couple housekeeping items to begin with. One, I'll share my screen here. This is my crowncouncil.com website. We are a month and 16 days into the Smiles for Life Whitening campaign. If you don't know what that is our yearly charitable campaign, an opportunity for you and your team to do good in your community. Our friends at Ultradent will donate all of the whitening to your practice for the next 4 months, and you in turn whiten smiles and donate that money to either national charities or a local charity of your choosing. Every week we have a new Sorry. Every week we have a new total. These are the top offices and how much they are donating. These two are the top this week, last week really. Monson Mayer, Dr. Monson Mayer, with over 16,000 already raised. You can read the rest. Just for Grins, White Family Dental, Control Alt Protect, one of our resource partners that donated $10,000 at the annual event. What a great opportunity for you to do good in your community, create a story that spreads, something that is very fun to share on a blog or a social post about how you're connecting with your community and doing good together. Another great benefit of doing Smiles for Life, it improves the culture of your team. It creates a culture of success, brings together team members in an awesome opportunity. So we signed 4 people up yesterday to participate with us. There is still time to sign up. We are thankful for everybody that is working and donating and who is part of Smiles for Life this year. So thank you. Thank you to Ultradent. We're grateful for their contributions every year and to be a partner with us. So thank you. All right, I'm going to share a quick video. I've got a bunch of recorded videos today that we prepared for the live stream. One of which is I'm gonna share my screen one more time. Well, I'm gonna be sharing it a lot. This is the Crown Council website, so crowncouncil.com. Very easy to navigate to. If you don't know, once a year we gather all of the Crown Council members and their teams at our annual event. We are planning on being in Nashville 2027. And we are planning, we're preparing, we're getting our speakers ready, we're having our all the things that we're preparing to host you there. People are signing up. We signed up 6 people this morning, a new team to be with us. So please sign up now. It makes the experience so much better as we prepare you to be there. I wanted to share this video. This is just one of our testimony videos, I guess you could call it. Dr. Chris Heap sharing his experience at the annual event. I wanted to share this with you, a really fun explanation of being at the annual event. I'm going to play it right here. Hopefully you can see it.
We come to the annual event every year because it's my weekend where I recharge for the upcoming year. So you can't come away from this event without just feeling inspired and excited to go back and be a better person, a better husband, father, dentist. Just anything you do in life, I do it better after I've been here. Well, when I first came, I thought it was going to be a conference of a lot of dentists. And then I came and I realized that it's a conference of a lot of the best dentists. Over the years, I've come to realize that it's a conference of a lot of just the best people I've ever met in the whole world. And they're phenomenal people outside of dentistry. That they're just people I want to be around because they make me want to be better. Probably my favorite thing from this year's annual event has been watching lights go off in the eyes of my team members and just seeing them react to the speakers or to just that family vibe that there is here, and sharing experiences with other people and running into people at breakfast that give them advice about what they're going through in their lives, and just seeing that glow and that fire that they know that there's people that are here to support them and they want to go back and be better. Seeing my team members respond is by far the greatest part about being here this weekend. I have never once regretted ever coming to an annual event, no matter what it costs to come, no matter how inconvenient it might be. it's the place to be. I mean, just do it. You will not regret it. You'll come and find me, and you'll thank me at next year's annual event when you see me. It's unbelievable.
All right, great testimony from Chris. We would love to have every Crown Council member join us at the annual event. It is our opportunity to connect with you, to connect with each other, and to just build a culture of success and community together. So on crowncouncil.com, you can sign up at the annual event link. Register now. A great thing about signing up now is we do monthly payments, so it's not charged in a lump sum. They'll start in May and they'll go equal payments all the way until we're at the annual event in January. So please join us. We'd love to have you. All right, one last bit of housekeeping, and we have actually never done a segment on this before. One of the oldest and best parts of being part of the Crown Council community, and I'm going to share my screen, is that years ago we created our Crown Council email network. And for years, we've, Steve and I and Greg have tried to decide, is there a better system for the community to communicate? Discord, Facebook forum, you name it. We have toyed with the idea of how does the Crown Council community talk with each other? And from the very beginning, we have used an email network. And this segment, I want to kind of pull out and talk about an invitation to be on the email network. If you are a doctor and not on the email network, which it does happen, this is our invitation for you to be on there, to engage, to ask questions, to share the very best of yourself on there, and to communicate with the community of the Crown Council membership on the email network. So let's just read this little culture guide together. The purpose of the Crown Council email network is to provide a forum where the top quality practices that the Crown Council serves can exchange the best of what they are doing for personal, professional, and practice growth and development. One of the beauties of the email network is that we don't monitor it. It is an independent network that Crown Council members use and talk to each other on. Everyone who is a paying member has access to it. And the best way to subscribe is to email Greg at crowncouncil.com. We will connect you on the email network. We don't need to go over this now, but it's very simple. You just send an email to this email address, crowns@lists.crowncouncil.com, and that goes to all 1,000 Crown Council members on the email network. And replying to that address is the same. It goes to everybody. As it's appropriate, replying does go to all 1,000 email addresses, so be conscious of that. All the Crown Council members are on there. The list is owned by Crown Council. We don't resource partners don't sell on there. They are on there offering advice and sharing their expertise. As it says here, be respectful of download times that require by the listserv whose internet access may be slower than your own. For example, when replying to a message, it's not necessary to resend the previous whole message. Subjects, be careful that the subjects that you're posting communicate your message to ease future searches of previous postings. And obviously, we encourage no non-dental postings on the email network. Anyway, when you sign up to the email network, we send you this little culture guide. No profanity or inappropriate comments. There's a commercial policy. It's not used for advertising or commercial interests. Anyway, you should be on it. If you're not on it, we want you on it. Some of the culture guide items: any communication in which you engage, written, verbal, or nonverbal, should represent you as a professional, and that is how it is used. The email network is very professional, and if anything happens or gets out of line, Greg, I, and Steve take care of it. Anyway, I love this one. What Mother said: don't talk about politics, religion, or sex in a public or social setting. What Mother said applies to the Crown Council email forum as well, and that is very true. When in doubt, don't. If you have a question about whether something is appropriate or not, we ask you to contact Greg first, and then very respectful to be honest. So, end of the segment here. We encourage everyone to email greg@crowncouncil.com. If you are not on the email network, we want you on there. We want you sharing your very best, communicating, having conversations, and elevating the Crown Council as a whole on the email network. So that is our invitation for you to do so. All right, I did an interview with Max Assist just yesterday. We met. Max Assist is one of our new resource partners. Me and Savannah talked a little bit about AI, which is kind of the theme of our live stream today. Our two segments are all about AI. So I'm going to share this segment with Savannah as she talks about how AI is being integrated into Max Assist and what that means for Crown Council members. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our live stream, Crown Council live stream. Savannah Carlson with Max Assist is here. Hi, Savannah.
Hello.
Savannah she sent me an email last week and said, I have a topic, something to share with Crown Council membership that's kind of hot, relevant, which I love because you are an expert in this little world that I don't know anything about. The doctors are probably like, hey, I need an expert here to explain a few things. So that is what we are doing. We're spending a few minutes on a topic that you are like, let's do this. Let's share this with Crown Council members. Maybe let's introduce you for real quick. Could you tell us, Max Assist, could you just do a brief introduction of what you do?
Of course. Hello, everyone. I am Savannah Carlson with Max Assist. I'm the U.S. Director of Partnerships and Learning Programs. And Max, as a previous dental office manager and someone who had to really rely on printing Excel sheets and making sure my day was effective and efficient for my admin team, I often found it hard to give my team a task list of all the available opportunities that they could go after during their workday.
Right.
It became laborious, it becomes exhausting, and we want to make sure that our admin teams are really getting into the nitty-gritty and feeling empowered in their position. Our admin teams, it's not just a front desk team. They are really impacting the success of the practice, specifically the success of the schedules. So Max Assist is an AI assistant that brings forth all of the available opportunities when it comes to hygiene and treatment, and it puts it right in front of our admin team so they know exactly where to go after it.
This is awesome. This is great.
I on the daily say, oh man, I wish I was back in practice for just one day so I could see my team like the jaw open. And I think that's one of the most impactful parts of doing any kind of chart AI reveal or showing anyone the software is when you see their eyes light up and the mouth just drops and you're like, yeah, we know. I was in your seat, when I first started here as well.
Well, what a cool tool. I mean, I often talk about at Crown Council how much friction is involved in like doing a task, even if it means like how much friction does it take to sign up for the annual event? It's like, oh my goodness, I've got to click on this thing and I've got to do this thing. And it's like, sometimes when there's more and more friction, a team member or even a client's like, I'm out. Like, I don't have time. Give me that one button pay, and then I'll buy your little thing. And so this feels like, the friction involved with preparing, what are we going to do today? What am I going to, that is a laborious task. It's a big task to kind of like get prepared. So what a fun solution. What a different, a great change. Let's talk about, I know you're sharing your screen. Let's talk about it. Let's do it.
Okay. So this is kind of the intro into Max Assist. Most of our practices that we work with, you guys don't have a production problem. It's a visibility problem. Our PM systems are so robust. It's really hard to navigate as an admin through the opportunities available to our admin team for our schedules, and trying to find that it's exhausting, right? So we have what's called Max Assist Chart AI. And Chart AI, it's not a report that you'll file away. It's definitely not a vanity dashboard, and it won't add work to your team. It's going to add visibility to everyone on the team. So we are going to highlight where opportunity is sitting inside of the practice right now. And most importantly, how is the team going to capture it? So here I have an example of what a chart AI is. We're going to pop onto the server. We're going to install chart AI, and it takes about 48 hours for chart AI to go through the PM system and find all of those opportunities.
That's
And then
cool.
you'll meet with me or one of my team members, and we'll walk you through what we found. This is a really great tool if you're finding scheduling gaps and or if your schedule is so full and you have sudden cancellations and you can't fill those sudden cancellations. So you're on both sides of the spectrum. Also, if you feel as though you have a software that's working pretty well, but you're intrigued and want to see if there's anything else sitting inside the practice management system, this complementary chart AI, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. In this example, for this one practice, there was $1.3 million of unscheduled revenue opportunities within the practice management system. And first, what we look at is the hygiene opportunity. How many patients have not come in for their hygiene appointments? We really love to gauge it for our practices too on our thermometer. How many patients do we know would want to come in right away? And then how many patients do we have to work with our marketing team to really develop some campaigns to re-engage? It's going to allow us to be more efficient with our time when we're contacting these patients, right? And then we're going to look at your unscheduled treatment as well. How many patients in the last 12 months have been given a treatment plan to better their health and have yet to come in for it? We're going to show you how many patients that is, what percent of your active patient base that is, and then what that means in terms of ROI for the practice.
Awesome.
I bet if your doctor saw that they're sitting on $1.2 million of unscheduled treatment, there would be conversations of, okay, yes, I see this. What are we going to do to get it? Like, how do we get that back in the schedule? And then we're going to look at, most importantly, how many active patients you have in the practice. I talk to many doctors and admins that say, oh yeah, we have a patient base of 5,000. We have a patient base of 6,000. This might be a little hard pill to swallow, but sometimes that's just your database, your patient database, but not your active patients. How many patients have come in the past 2 years, like through the door, sat down, met with the doc, had a walkout code done, left happy patients? It can be a pretty sobering number to some practices as well. So we're going to tell you how many patients have been in within 18 months, 18 to 24 months, and then 24 to 46. What I really love about looking at the active patient base is how good is our perio program? Do we have a perio program? And we can tell by our graph over here, our 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months. If all of our patient base is sitting at the 6 and 12, that's a red flag to me that we may be missing opportunities when it comes to our patients for the periodontal health. Maybe that's a conversation we need to have with our hygiene team or offer more education to really build out a robust perio program within the practice. And how do we reach these patients that are due to come in for all this treatment, right? We're going to tell you how many patients do not have emails. So you think you're sending an email campaign out, but they're not getting it because it's not listed in their demographics, as well as cell phone numbers. And then this number right here, we haven't found any software other than us that is currently doing this. We're able to tell you how many patients are just floating in la la land inside of your PM system. So they've been created a profile, a patient chart, patient record, but they have not been assigned continuing care. Huge opportunity for your team to re-engage and at least see where they're at, get them back on the schedule, or help to clean out your database. Because when we have dirty data, it's very hard to be able to properly track and engage with our patients. So this whole audit, not only is it going to inform the team and your doctor what opportunities are sitting there, but it's really going to help us determine our path forward when it comes to utilizing our PM systems and how we're actually reaching out to patients.
This is awesome.
It's pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. But this is just the start, Stuart, right? This is the wake up call, I like to say, right? And it's okay, I have the wake up call. I'm wide open. I had 3 shots of espresso kind of call. What do I do now? And then we have the Max Assist tool that is going to show your team all of those patients and all of
Right.
those opportunities in this audit and give them a really easy, efficient way to reach out.
So good. Okay.
Yeah.
This, this is awesome. I love,
Thanks.
I mean, we are, I mean, it was funny. Steve and I met this morning about, um, like every business needs this. Crown Council needs this. We're constantly meeting new people
Mm-hmm.
through webinars and through Smiles for Lives. Like, what's the next step for them? What is our team doing to connect with them? Um, this is so this is great. I love that $1.2 million. Like both, I was like, that's both good and bad. Like, oh my
Right?
goodness.
It's like, oh no. And I mean, it also it gets the team and the doctor thinking, okay, ha are we not rejecting treatment plans once if we present a patient with two options, right?
Right.
And they complete one option, has that other one, have we cleaned up that data? Have we rejected it into the treatment plan so it falls off this, or is it just sitting there as pending treatment,
Right.
right?
Right. Okay. I've
Yeah.
got I've got you uh do we want to talk about like if a Crown Council member wants to connect with you,
Yeah,
what's
absolutely.
best? I mean, I know we've got your resource partner page on crowncouncil.com.
Hmm.
You tell me. I know we've got a little landing page set up and everything. Is that best or
Yeah, that's best. If and especially if you, it's great if you head to the landing page and set up a chart AI/demo through there, because as Crown Council members, you do have preferred pricing
yes.
when you decide to come to the dark side
Yeah.
and and go after that opportunity. So I would definitely go to the landing page. If you want to reach out directly and you have questions, you can always email me at Savannah SAVAN one N AH at maxassist.com.
Okay. I'm gonna share. Can I share my screen
Of course.
to show our little landing page? Okay. Okay. So here is our Max Assist Crown Council landing page. Very easy. I think it's just maxassist.com/crown dash council. So very
Hmm.
easy to find. And with this video, I'll include the link, but this is the best place to go. Oh, look at us. Look,
Yeah.
I'm on your page.
You're on the page. So that was when our CEO Jeff he
Yeah,
did a
that's
full
right.
demo back in the fall. So we've clipped it. So if anyone wants to check that out as well, it's there.
Mm,
But yeah, we have exclusive preferred pricings for our Crown Council family, and we're here to help. I mean, we're here to help and educate. We understand softwares are not one size fits all. So even if you need to utilize the tool to educate the doc and the team as to what's happening in the practice and need some support, I mean, reach out. That's why we're here.
okay. Thumbs up. Thank you.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Okay, everybody. Thanks. Thanks, Savannah. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Very cool. Grateful for Savannah. Thankful for our resource partners who are asked to find solutions to Crown Council members' challenges. Grateful for when they engage and specifically when they offer specific, very fun solutions to the membership. So, a lot of great changes happening. One thing that happened last night, we decided to do something new, a bit of a personalized mastermind group. We called it Crown Conversations. It's not a webinar, it wasn't like a presentation. We essentially took from the email network, which is, what I shared earlier, a topic that we saw was happening in the Crown Council membership, things that were being talked about, asked about, questions, and we said, let's have a conversation about it. Let's bring in an expert. Let's meet for an hour. We'll talk about what is everyone doing, what are people seeing, how can we help. So last night we talked as a group of about 20 of us about the topic was how is AI affecting the search engines, the searching that is going on for your practice. And let me just set the stage for that real quick. If you have a teenager in your house, at least in my house, my 17-year-old, 18-year-old, whenever she has a question, no longer does she go to Google or go to the internet and type in um, who is the best dentist in Utah. That is kind of out. They don't operate that way. What I'm seeing is she opens Chat GPT, and into Chat GPT she says, "Oh hey Chat, I am looking for a dentist in the Salt Lake City area. I want somebody that's personable. I want somebody that does a lot of CE. I want somebody who's great at cosmetic dentistry, has a lot of great reviews, um, uh, is an incredible doctor to go to because they've been around for a long time, or they're great at cosmetic dentistry. She talks to ChatGPT in a way that it's like a friend asking for advice, and then ChatGPT responds. And so that is what we talked about last night: is what are you doing as a Crown Council member to make sure that when AI is used to search for you, the results come back, or we're being proactive, because this is a trend that is changing the way that patients are finding you and interacting with you. So I want to share the first 30 minutes of our Crown conversation. It will get cut off, but I'll upload it to the rest of it that's an hour long to the Crown Council website, where we can you can watch that. So let me share my screen, share the sound, and this is the recording of our first Crown Conversations last night. I don't have a date set for the next one or the next topic, but we're working on it. We should have had that set today, but we will definitely be doing this again. So here's our first one from last night. Let's get started. Steve, do you want to frame what we're doing tonight and kind of set us up?
Absolutely. So the whole framework for this is, as we mentioned in the announcement for this is not a webinar. So this is going to be interactive. And one of the reasons is we wanted to have some idea exchange in the areas where we're going to focus. So the conversation tonight is going to specifically focus on how AI is influencing search and how a practice is found. We're going to leave how to use AI for different areas of your practice and things it can do for a different conversation. This is going to be specifically focused on search. And Shane, to what you addressed is, how is it impacting how patients find your practice? And more importantly, what can you do to continue to be found where you want to be found? So what I've asked Lane Anderson and Brent to do, I think everybody knows Perspective Marketing. They are specialize in digital marketing, all things digital marketing. And so I've asked Lane and his team to share some specific things that they are finding that are working, that is influencing AI search results, that are actionable, that you can do, so that when we get done tonight, you'll have an action plan of things you can immediately go do, some of which you're already doing, but do even better because you know it's going to impact the results in where AI is trending. So with that, Lane, I will turn it over to you and Brent.
Awesome. For those of you who don't know Brent, he's my colleague and the brains behind our website structure and a lot of our awesome tools that we've developed over time to help dig deeper, to understand better what's working. So we're going to talk about some things together. But let's see. Stuart, you've probably got the master button. If you allow me to share.
Will you? Awesome. There it is. Yeah, I'll allow it. There it goes. You're allowed. I'll allow this time.
I've got a few slides here I'm going to share with you that just are going to highlight basically 5 key things that, along the lines of what Steve mentioned, are actionable that you can do in your practice, and some are a little harder to do than others, but I think will be hopefully helpful. Let's see, there we go. So this is just going to take a few minutes, and then we'll hopefully provide some backdrop for some discussion that we can have following this. And certainly welcome to jump in if you have any comments or questions as we go. But here's kind of a broader perspective on what we are seeing with AI engines and optimizing for those. And I think from a broad sense, if you look at SEO, we're optimizing to be visible for a particular keyword search. And there's Google and Bing and Yahoo, and once in a while even DuckDuckGo and other small search engines, but the vast majority of that is in Google. When we're doing AEO or GEO, which stands for GEO is like generative engine optimization, and A for answer or artificial intelligence engine optimization, what we're really optimizing for there is often comparison. So we're getting them to do some work for us and compiling all this information, and it becomes more of a comparison as opposed to just being visible for a certain keyword or a certain thing that we want to be known for. It's comparing practices, and so it basically is creating a new game entirely, because different things are now being put into the mix. I would say with regards to where are we now, it's certainly growing in dentistry. It is not anywhere near dominating. The vast majority is still coming through Google and in some markets, Yahoo and Bing, but it is growing. And as we're seeing in terms of demographics, younger demographics are using this more than the older demographics, the baby boomers. So you look at the Gen Zers and they're using it a lot more than the baby boomers are. But more importantly, with regards to dentistry, they are using it a lot and increasingly more for information, and the looking at it for a transaction is a little bit slower sometimes, but it is coming and it is becoming more and more, and we're seeing leads coming through from ChatGPT. Is it the majority? Not anywhere close, but it is happening. And that's a good thing. I would say with regards to how does it work, and we're seeing results change by AI engine. You ask something in Perplexity, you'll get a different answer than you get in ChatGPT, different answer from AI overviews. So where they pull from is affecting those results. They change by the question. We were just talking about this before we started. You make a small change in the question that you're answering, and it gives you a different result. So keeping in mind that this is very fluid and changes a lot, and it's very different from SEO that was much more predictable and consistent. There is a lot of inconsistency depending on the engine and the question that's posed and the user. It kind of seems, they seem to kind of train based on who is using it. And so those are all things to keep in mind. And that's why it's very difficult to measure AI visibility, because there isn't a consistent answer. It's always changing. So those are just important things to keep in mind. And here's a really interesting example we're going to pull from another world, if you will. I'm going to let Brent show you this. This is really interesting.
So we didn't look at dentistry here. We wanted to make sure that we were just pulling out from this other world. So I looked for injury lawyers, top industry lawyers in St. Louis, Missouri. So I asked ChatGPT, who's the best injury lawyer in St. Louis, Missouri? And of course, it's all subjective, right? It doesn't really know. It hasn't tried out any of these, but it's all pulling information from different parts of the internet. But you'll see here that we've got several of them: Berger Law, Law Offices, John Wallace, Goldblatt and Singer, S.E. Ferris. Now, I can keep on going down here and it'll tell me what's the best and so forth. I did the same search, exactly the same, in Google. And you'll notice here that the top listed for the map pack is Holland Injury Law. And after these aggregators, the top listed in organic is Brown and Crouppen. Okay, hopefully you can see that. I'll try to zoom in a little bit more. So we've got those two. So I went here, those two are not listed anywhere here. In fact, out of this group here, only 2 out of these that are recommended are showing up at all in the organic search on the first page of Google. So then I said, after it gave everything, it says, well, why wasn't Brown and Crouppen included in your recommendations? That's number 1 on Google. Why aren't they here? It says, oh, good question. It's one of the most well-known firms.
Wait, Brent, now it's being honest.
Right. That's where it says, honestly. Thank you, AI. So it is one of the most well-known, and that's probably why it's number 1 in Google, but it's this reason right here. They're legitimate high volume firm, but some low quality operation. And they say they just advertise a ton. They're an advertising heavy firm. They do lots of cases, but they really don't get a lot of communication with the clients and so forth. So it comes down here and it says, okay, I'm going to give a summary. And it says, here's the honest positioning from an AI point of view.
Honest and an attorney? That's kind of...
So Brown and Crouppen is a McDonald's of personal injury, whereas the top trial lawyers that it recommended were a high-end steakhouse. How about
That's an interesting comparison.
Yes. So then it gives me when I would want to use them, when I wouldn't. But then I said, well, what about the next one that was the top in the map pack? Why weren't they included in your recommendations? And they said, well, they probably should have been mentioned, but here's why they weren't. And it says, everything about them, and they're good. They're not a low-tier firm. They're in the middle. And why they weren't in my original list. And one of the reasons why we wanted to show you this is because you can do this as well. If you're searching up on something about your practice, something that you want to be seen for, you can go back and say, well, why wasn't I included in those lists if you weren't? And it will tell you why. What's the difference and what it's looking for. I'll just go down to here to the honest positioning again. Brown and Crouppen, high volume, high advertising, efficient settlements. Urban Wallace, that's the first list. Elite trial lawyers, massive verdicts, fewer clients. And then Holland is the sweet spot, hybrid sweet spot, solid results and personal attention. So definitely something that you can do. Just because you rank well in Google, or even if you don't, doesn't mean that that's going to be the same thing when you come over to AI.
Cool.
Okay, so we're going to just share with you, with that kind of in mind, some key factors that we're seeing are affecting AI. One of those is the website, reviews and local listings. We're seeing third-party mentions, and I'll talk about each of these real briefly. Social media, and EEAT, which stands for experience, expertise, authority, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. All things that are having some impact. And I'll cover these reasonably quickly, but every one of these is important. SEO that is being done on the website still matters. And if that's done well, the AI engines can find it better. And it's also, providing less disconnect, as we were talking about before. High quality content, AI engines
to run ads that go back and.
Hold on, mate. Somebody's echoing.
We got some feedback there.
You might want to mute.
High quality content, it makes a difference, and these engines are often responding to questions, and so having more of that question-oriented content on your website makes a difference. So adding that to service pages, for example, in cosmetic dentistry or in dental implants or sedation, and asking frequently asked questions and providing the response to that is very helpful. On the technical side, schema is basically code that is put on your site to guide the engines as they come into your website, making sure they see what is there. And so some of that, as well as technical SEO, can be done to help the search engines, the AI engines through, just like we do with the regular search engines. It is also an opportunity to shape what you want your practice to be known for. And I'll show you an interesting example of that. And then finally, highlighting your awards, certifications, memberships, and key organizations makes a big difference. They are using that to kind of sort through all the competitors and see what's, working best. So here's an interesting example. And it usually always qualifies it and says, finding the best cosmetic dentist isn't easy, but here is an interesting thing. Based on patient ratings, industry recognition, expertise, that's how they go in and determine it. So here's an example. Bill Dorfman showing up in the LA area as a top cosmetic dentist. And it's mentioning he's an inventor of Zoom whitening, a reputation, looking at the reviews, memberships. So you can see those things starting to show up there, reviews and accreditations and accomplishments. So interesting. And these are quoting his website. So that's been a key place where those are getting highlighted. A second area is reviews and local listings. And there are 4 things that they pay attention to. The rating, of course, number 1, is it a 5 or 4.9, 4.8? The research says not being a perfect 5 is actually better. If you're in a 4.8 or 4.9, that's actually better than being a perfect 5.0 rating because they look at it as more authentic. The quantity of reviews, and we've literally seen AI listings that says, I'll show you one here in a minute, that says, this doctor has this many reviews at this rating. And so the quantity matters, the recency matters. So it's great if you've got 500 or 600 reviews today, but they're looking at, are you continuing to get reviews, and are they as effusive as the ones that were coming in before? And then the sentiment, and how effusive are people about, hey, I loved coming to your practice. It was a great experience, blah, blah, blah. Responding to reviews is also proving to be very important. And it's important not only in terms of AI, but also in terms of people having a window to your relationship with those patients. And we usually say the best thing is if the doctor responds. The next best thing is if a team member responds. And the third best and distant third best is if somebody else does it. But that's better than not doing it at all. And then making sure you're paying attention to all of the key places where you want to have reviews in Google and Yelp and Facebook. And then on the second tier would be health grades. But even that's getting, picked up. And then make sure that you've claimed all those listings and expand on them to share the information about your practice. Okay.
Hey, Lane, can I ask just a quick question, especially
Sure.
on the, well, I may be jumping ahead, the awards and recognitions. Are we to that point, or should I wait?
No, that's fine.
So I did a little, snooping around, running some different experiments of my own on this in preparation for this. And it seemed to me that, and you could say whether this is true or not, is there wisdom in building out a more robust area of the website where you detail out in more detail all the continuing education you've done? I mean, there's one thing to say, awards and all that kind of stuff, but if I've got a list of all the stuff I've done and the different places I've been, does that impact? Because in some of the comparisons that I saw, it's like this guy does more continuing education than the average dentist. I mean, because so is that is my perception right there?
Yes, absolutely. And it may be that you may want to do a detailed resume on your bio page, but on your homepage, it's also good to, display those awards, organizations, key groups that you might have done continuing education with. And in the past, we kind of limited that more to consumer recognized places. today, it makes sense to do what you're talking about, Steve, and listing all that stuff because they process it in the engines and say, hey, this is a really well, educated doctor. You're getting the best.
For an example of that, you could go to Dr. Lisa Marie Samaha's website, pwdentalarts.com, and look at her about us, the Dr. Samaha page. Not only does she have all of her professional affiliations throughout her experience and her career, but she also has a curriculum vitae that will explain so much more of what she's done. We also do see getting picked up where we've explained a little bit more. For example, if somebody's a COIS member, we put out something of what does it mean to be a COIS doctor and why would you want one? And that kind of stuff gets picked up as well.
Dr. Beveridge, go ahead.
Quick question for you. So along the lines of, I know we're talking about continuing education, but on the About Me page to link in like other things you're involved in. I know, Lane, we've talked a little bit about this, but say you're involved in like other community things or nonprofits, is it worth linking those websites into your site when they're not dental related? Or should you keep it just to like your CE and professional organizations?
Yeah, we're talking about kind of two different things. The short answer is yes. It does make sense to link those in for SEO purposes because that gives your site a little bit more authority. Even though it's not dental related, it's linking you to the community, which has some value, and it's providing some links. In terms of what we're looking at here, what those people are saying about your practice and what's showing up in your local listing is having a really profound effect on how they view your practice. Here's an interesting example from Dr. Simon's practice. So doing this search, where can I get the best dental care in Stamford, Connecticut? He comes up first, and it mentions best if you want the broadest range of services in one place, including, and it mentions those, and it referenced the website. Well, there's two things going on here. You'll notice up here also, it mentions 3 practices, and it cites exactly the rating and the number of reviews, again, and compares those. But here's an example of where the reviews are mattering to get them ranked, but then the website is making a difference. The headline on the website, on the homepage, mentions all your dental care in one location. And that happens to be the thing that they picked up in the AI engine with regards to why this practice was a great one to go to.
Good job, Jerry. Did you know you were going to be on the program tonight, Jerry? You're muted. I can't hear
you. Anyway, you can shape to some degree what you're known for by how you do that on your website. A third factor is what we'd call third-party mentions. Press releases, articles that you may have authored or that you're mentioned in, endorsements that come from other places. Here's a very interesting example with Dr. Sykes. He's got, this is an AI overviews about him and key details. The practice, it goes to his website. Background, it picks up some stuff off LinkedIn, interestingly. Recognition, it picked up a 24/7 press release about from 2012, talking about being one of the finalists in the Young Dentist program, Young Dentist of the Year.
Go, Shane.
There you go. And then other, identifies as a dentist, adventurer, photographer, etc., is coming from Instagram. So interesting that it's aggregating all this information across the internet and pulling that together from all those sources.
And Shane, you're a veterinarian in Tennessee. Rock on, brother.
Nice.
You know that.
And then, as you
hey, Lane, can you, before you go on social media, can you talk about the press release thing? I mean, that's like a throwback from yesterday, but now it's back again. So how how do you, I mean, we do that for Smiles for Life because we send it out, but how, like, let's take Montz. David Montz is in Houston. How would he issue a press release that would actually get, published on the internet somewhere?
So you write a press release, and there's a bit of an art to doing that, but you can then take that press release, including photos, and release it online. There are companies that do those releases. This 24/7 press release is the one that we use for the Crown Council. You can restrict that to your market. The thing that's interesting about this is, in conventional SEO, it was kind of well recognized that press releases didn't do you much good. They blocked all of the links. And so they didn't really do you a lot of good. Today, what's happening is they're going out and grabbing all this content on the internet from all kinds of places, and they're pulling that into the results, as you can see here as an example. And this is like, 14 years ago. Yeah. So they're pulling stuff that's out there, which is good. And so it is having some impact. And we had one just recently that we did for a practice, and we show up in the AI results. We don't know how long they last, but that is a tool.
Apparently 14 years.
Yeah, it depends on how well it's picked up. But going back to what Todd said in the meeting before the meeting, that you could go ahead and use AI to try to give you ideas on what to write a press release about for your practice. For example, you asked about Dr. Montz. There could be several things. For example, he's got a patient that hasn't been able to sleep for years, and he does sleep apnea help on them, and they're able to now sleep and work and be alert, or now their behavior issues are gone for their kids, or whatever it is. Those kinds of things could be put out as a press release saying, local doctor, local dentist helps this particular situation with their sleep apnea. Those kinds of things can be picked up in that market as a press release, not only in the news outlets, but especially in AI.
And to Brent's point, the important thing is to have something newsworthy.
Yeah.
That is of interest, either a human interest story or some developing new technology that you've got that's, helped people, but making it newsworthy. Okay.
Old is new again.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And
We're
then
going to talk about yellow pages too.
Well, I don't know about that.
Social media, there's a lot we could talk about here, but having good quality videos, good quality photos, expertise that relates to real life issues matters a lot, and being able to demonstrate that, showcasing results, which we can do with, great after cases and talking about how, that has impacted them. It's important to use multiple outlets, not just Facebook and Instagram and maybe TikTok. LinkedIn is getting picked up, which is another channel. And then making sure that across those channels, we've got some consistent messaging. And it is a little tempting with social media, to be a little more lighthearted and have some fun, and that's okay. But as far as what's useful for AI optimization, using that as a tool to communicate the experience that your patients have had or unique things about your practice can be really valuable.
And just let me say one thing about LinkedIn, that a lot of us don't think of that as our social media, but if you're posting on LinkedIn, your audience there is probably much more in the CEO, the higher educated, the more professional type areas, the people that can afford a lot of the services that you want to provide. That's a good target for a lot of your target patients. So don't discount LinkedIn. It actually should be something that's actually part of your toolbox.
Here's an interesting one. This is a little more unconventional social media example, but ChatGPT, best sedation dentistry options. And it cited the Reno dentist and cited some things about it that were very beneficial, large well-known practice, multiple sedation options. many patients specifically mentioning overcoming dental fear. And it was pulling from Reddit and a review that somebody posted there. And somebody had said, looking for really, I'm looking for a dentist. And somebody posted a really great review here
Mental
about
chaos.
practice. And
There was an article in the Wall Street Journal a couple weeks ago that was saying that Reddit is now the new darling of AI because there is so much content on that site, and it's using it. It's mining all of that information.
And it's the darling of Google too. So you get best of both worlds there.
Yeah.
So, just one example. And then finally, this EEAT. Now, this has been around for a while with regards to SEO, demonstrating, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness are things that can be done on your website. It can be done in social media. It can be done in a number of ways. Here's an example from ChatGPT. Who's the best cosmetic dentist in Summit, New Jersey? So Dr. Bandiff shows up there. But this is interesting. Down further on the page, it talks about who is best and why. And it mentions some other practices: best overall, best for personalized experience, best newer practice, mentions Summit. So it's picked out a point of uniqueness that we've talked about before, and establishing some, and then it actually tells you what makes a top cosmetic dentist, which is kind of helpful. So a before and after smile gallery, most important. Wow. That's something that sometimes gets neglected in some practices, and those visuals and social media are good places to demonstrate that experience that a doctor's had in that arena. Experience with veneers.
Lane, is there a specific way that should be formatted on the website?
Well, I'll tell you what we recommend is not only doing it in the Smile Gallery, but also doing it on the service pages. And the most effective thing we've seen has been using some very attractive after photos. And then you can inset the before and after. And ideally have a quote from the patient, and then right under that, a little bit of explanation about what was done. At a minimum, you want to be able to label what the case was. Was it veneers or implants or whatever that might be, so that people can say, oh, yeah, I'm going to get implants. Let me look at some implant cases on there. But the most effective ones we've seen have had all of those 4 elements.
And just to clarify, that large after photo is the full face, and then the inset before and after will be the close-up smile.
Yeah.
Not the retracted lips, but the actual smile there.
Hey, I hate to stop it. I'll put the upload on the Crown Council website. There's another 30 minutes of discussion and sharing and just talking about how we can make the search through AI tools the most effective as we stay ahead of this trend and work towards it. Dr. Montz, who was on, talked about how he's going to beef up blog posts and LinkedIn, a lot of different ways that as AI is out searching for CE, searching for all the different things that can talk about you, to be conscious about updating them and being out onto them. Adrian from My Social Practice was on and talked about blog posts, sharing things that could essentially be just a smile design in your practice that you could write about, talk about their experience, share their testimony, share the post of their pictures that is then uploaded as a blog post that can help with AI search. So I'll upload the rest to Crown Council website and let you know about the next one that we'll do, hopefully in April, as a new topic arises for our Crown conversation. So hopefully you enjoyed the show today. Grateful that you joined us for this brief hour together. Grateful for this community. And remember, you do not practice alone here. We're grateful for each of you, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.